We have to have it. They have to have this done. They can protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there. And, because a boat went there 500 years ago and then left, that doesn't give you title to property.
U.S. President Donald Trump's bid to acquire Greenland is growing out of proportion each day. From failed Washington talks with Danish and Greenland officials last week to slapping tariffs on European allies for supporting Denmark over the U.S. in order to protect Greenland, POTUS has been implying all possible means, except troop mobilization, to get hold of Denmark until now. But it seems like all hell is about to break loose as the U.S. is set to deploy military aircraft to Greenland's Pituffik space base as tensions rise between the United States, Denmark, and its European allies. Another Venezuela-like military intervention on the shore? North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, on January 20th, announced that aircraft will soon operate from Pituffik Space Base in Greenland as part of long-planned missions alongside flights from the U.S. and Canada. The activities aim to support North American defense and build on ongoing cooperation with Canada and the Kingdom of Denmark. NORAD said the operations were coordinated with Denmark, included proper diplomatic clearances, and that Greenland's government has been informed. The command emphasized that such missions are routine. The announcement comes just after Denmark dispatched more than 100 combat soldiers to Greenland on January 19th. European pushback didn't do much for Trump. Rather, he is now even more determined to make Greenland a U.S. territory. On January 20th, President Trump posted a photo with European leaders in the Oval Office on Truth Social. While it's not a big thing to have a meeting with the entire Europe in the Oval Office, the highlight was different in the image. The image showed a U.S. map kept beside Trump that depicts Canada, Greenland, and Venezuela as part of the United States. In a separate post, Trump appears alongside Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio as he hoists a U.S. flag in Greenland, standing near a milepost that reads, Greenland US Territory Established 2026. After Venezuela, Greenland, and Canada are two goals on Trump's 2026 vision board. On January 20th, while heading to the White House, Trump reaffirmed his dream of getting a hold of the Arctic island and said, "We have to have it."
We have to have it. They have to have this done. They can protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there. And, because a boat went there 500 years ago and then left, that doesn't give you title to property.
Why are you upset about NATO allies thinking that, more seriously in Greenland by holding military exercises?
Well, that wasn't a military. They sent a few people. And they say they sent them not for me, but to guard against Russia. But, NATO's been warning Denmark for about 20 years now, longer than that, 25 years. They've been warning Denmark about the Russian threat. And it's not only Russia, it's also China. So we'll see what happens. But let's put it this way. It's going to be a very interesting Davos. No, I don't care about the Nobel Prize. First of all, a very fine woman felt that I deserved it and really wanted me to have the Nobel Prize. And I appreciate that. If anybody thinks that Norway doesn't control the Nobel Prize, they're just kidding. They have a board, but it's controlled by Norway. And I don't care what Norway says. I think I have a lot of messages for Davos, but The primary message is how well the United States is doing. And I say it all the time. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. And now we have the hottest country in the world. I mean, you're beneficiaries too.
Championing Trump's decision to slap tariffs on other NATO allies, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that it would be unwise for Europe to retaliate against Trump's tariffs, and that they should take Trump's word as it is.
Mr. Secretary, nice to see you again. Thank you for coming. Jamie, Associated Press. Could you tell us what kind of communications you've had with European Union officials since your comments yesterday to U.S. media to avert a crisis in a new showdown and a souring relations between the United States and the European Union over Greenland?
I've been traveling, so I haven't been in touch, but I spoke to President Trump, and evidently there are a lot of inbounds, and I think everyone should take the president at his word.
Does that mean
Next, I'll take right here, Laurent with AFP.
The European Union, well, two questions if I could. Can you confirm that the President's letter to Norway and then the EU might be preparing retaliatory measures for Greenland? Are you concerned about what that could mean?
I don't know anything about the president's letter to Norway, and I think it's complete canard that the president will be doing this because of the Nobel Prize. The president is looking at Greenland as a strategic asset for the United States. We are not going to outsource our hemispheric security to anyone else.
Retaliation by the Europeans? How concerned are you?
Today, guys.
How concerned are you about retaliation? Excuse me, about the Europeans? This question.
I think it would be very unwise. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Denmark should watch its back, as reports surfaced that the U.S. informally sought information on Greenland's military sites, ports, and air bases without involving Copenhagen. Documents from Denmark's defense ministry, seen by Danish daily Berlingske, suggest U.S. officials contacted Danish military counterparts in Greenland outside normal diplomatic and defense channels. A U.S. military official is said to have repeatedly requested details about Greenland's infrastructure from Denmark's Arctic Command, roughly every 6 days. It remains unclear whether any information was ultimately shared. President Trump's pressure tactics aren't working with Greenland and Denmark. Loud and clear in a statement, Denmark's Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen said that President Donald Trump won't achieve his Greenland aims by putting pressure on Europe.
I also made it very clear that we are open for this kind of discussion. We are pragmatic, cold-blooded Scandinavian people with a warm heart. But it is not easy when we wake up every morning to new threats. Please convey that message to the president. And therefore, for a second, I thought, we have managed not to solve the problem, but to find a pathway forward. It was disrupted by the statement from the president, and that's a reality of life. And that's why it's so important that all our allies in the NATO alliance and the European Union stand up for these principles to show the American president, you have a desire, you have a vision, you have a request, but you will never be able to achieve that by putting pressure on us. That signal is of crucial importance in order to, I would say, to push the Americans back into the meeting room as we agreed last week.